All right, Marlon, talk about the San Antonio game. Cup quarterfinal, you go down there, get a win. What's that feel like?
It feels like what we expected it to be. The environment was a great environment in front of a good fan base. But we went there with the right urgency, the right intensity, and right now we're in a good run of form. And I think every game we're going into every game with the right mindset, knowing that we can beat every team that we can play, or we can hold our own, and it's not just about trying to see games out and struggle. But we're actually going in with the idea and the mentality that we can win a game, and I think that mentality has been huge for us, and I think the intent has been there.
You're 7 games unbeaten in all competitions right now. You had a similar stretch last year. How does this stretch of games feel compared to that stretch last year where you got on a little bit of run of form?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a similar feeling throughout the group. With the way we play, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of commitment. The mentality has to be there. The will to be able to run and press and to run forward, and it has to be there. And I think you see a fitter group, a more dynamic group, and both sides of the ball, we're doing the work. We have defenders defending, defenders scoring goals, attackers scoring goals, and attackers defending, and midfielders, we're just trying to chip in as best as we can also. But right now, when you have both groups doing tremendous jobs on both sides of the field, and there's no reason why you can't get results like this.
You mentioned midfielders chipping in. You kind of talked about that last year too. You getting that goal. You got a goal on Wednesday. What's that like for you as a player to make those kind of really tangible contributions? Those things that show up on the score sheet.
Yeah, it's huge for me. It's definitely one thing that we spoke about with just having guys chipping in, all over the field, not just having our strikers scoring goals, but if everybody else can chip in and add something, whether it's goals, assists, it helps take a little bit of a load off their shoulders. And like I said, everybody's been chipping in lately, and when you have that throughout the group, and even guys that are coming in helping change games, helping add goals, and still doing defensive work on the other side of the ball, it's huge for us, and it continues to give us a boost going forward, and we're not slowing down anytime soon, and I think right now we have a good momentum.
Yeah. Talking about momentum going in this weekend, Rhode Island's coming in the 3rd time you played them this season. That rivalry feels like it's really heated up this season, both on the field and off the field. What's your perspective as a player going into a game like that as they come here?
Yeah, for me, it's another game. Obviously, it has a lot of meaning behind it with being a rivalry, but for us, it's every game right now that we're playing going towards this part of the season is like a final for us. So we're trying to treat every game as such, and we know that they're going to bring a certain intensity to the match because this game has a certain feel to it. But right now we have a real collective group. Everybody's working hard on a training pitch. Like I said, it's not just 11 guys on the field. It's a total team effort that we're getting from the group right now. And so it's going to be a good game this weekend in front of our crowd. We hope that it's a sellout, and we hope that the fans are loud for us because we're going to need them. And it's another step for us to keep moving forward in the right direction.
Perfect.
All right, thank you guys.
Appreciate
All right.
it. Good?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
All right, Brendan. First thing, San Antonio, you go down there, get the win. How's that feel?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it was the biggest game in the club's history, and we showed up. Every guy played well. The guys that came off the bench helped close it well. We managed the game really well. We frustrated their crowd, their staff, their players. It was a great road performance.
I don't know how much managers think about this, but I think it was your first win over San Antonio as a manager.
Yeah, I was definitely cursed with San Antonio. I had all sorts of crazy circumstances every time we played them over the years, so that was a relief. That was a real thing. Yeah.
So you advance. You talked earlier in the season that this cup, you get out of your group, it's 3 games and some silverware. Some 2 games and some silverware.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that competition?
Well, the draw helped. Getting a home game is massive. Hopefully we're packed to the rafters, and they get behind us, because I think if we show up with that same intent, with that same energy level, and we're at home, there's a very good chance we can get to a final.
You talk about being at home, but this team has been kind of killing it on the road lately. I think 8 games on the road without unbeaten. Last year, road games were a real sore spot. This year, kind of turned that around completely. What's been different?
Mentality, intent. We use that word a lot, intent. And we knew last year that it was bad and it cost us a playoff spot. And that this year, to have one, to secure one, that we had to be much better on the road. And I think for me, the Detroit game was when I really saw a massive shift in our mentality.
So the other big news this week, obviously, is Momo taking the next step in his career.
Yeah.
Talk about him as a player here in Hartford first.
Well, one, he's a wonderful kid. He's raised well. He's intelligent. He asks good questions. His work ethic is impeccable. So he's deserving of everything he's getting. I also think Minnesota's getting a player that's going to help them, for the remainder of this year and certainly next year once he settles. He has every tool to go and succeed at the MLS level and beyond that, in my opinion. So I'll be watching every time he plays. Every time I'm available to watch, I'll be watching him.
The other side, of course, is team loses a leading scorer during the middle of the season. You've been down that road before in Colorado. Mishi got a loan to LAFC, I think, in 2021.
Yep.
Haji Barry left early in 2022 to go to Egypt. What does that mean for the team, and how do you respond to that?
Well, so I think it's twofold. One, they're happy for him. I mean, they celebrated with him in San Antonio. He was the captain for the night, and he went out with a bang. That said, Kyle's playing really well and back to full fitness, was able to start with Mo last game. We have to be careful about this weekend's game because of the heavy travel and the quick turn. But after we get through that, I think in Kyle we have a top 10 in the league goal scorer. So that made all of our decisions a lot easier. And I do think we'll bring in a veteran reinforcement in that position as well.
Looking ahead to this weekend, obviously you mentioned third game in a busy week, and obviously with Mo leaving, that's another component. But it's Rhode Island coming in, third meeting between the two clubs. It's been getting hot on the field, it's been getting hot off the field.
Yep.
What are you expecting from that game?
More of the same of what we saw when we were out in Rhode Island. A somewhat choppy game, definitely a physical game. The tension is there, but I don't think it's being played in the wrong way. I think both teams are just competing. They know what it means to the fan bases, and a regional rivalry is good for any sport.
Obviously now it's a packed schedule with Cup semifinal, hopefully a Cup final. You're in the playoff hunt. All those games matter. How do you balance that workload for the players, maintain the intensity, and get all the results you need?
You have to use all the guys. That's part of it. We got to get Jack going now. We got Kyle going. We got to get Jack moving again. He's available. He was available on Wednesday. We just didn't feel like it was the right time. We wanted to make sure we closed out that game defensively. But being able to use 18 to 20 guys and bring reinforcements, guys that have done this a couple hundred times, so there's more predictability, that'll help. Being willing to rotate is scary sometimes because you have a group performing so well, but the last thing we want to do is put them in a position where they could get injured. So I believe it's already we have to play 6 games in 15 days or something absurd like that. So, if we don't rotate, people are going to get hurt.
Got nothing else to add.
All right.
Thank you.